And good morning, friends. Welcome to Here I Stand. We have a variety of topics for today. The WHO, who, where are the Republicans, and looking ahead to the June 28th Illinois primary. Is there any hope? Is there any light at the end of the tunnel, or is it more of the same? That's what Pastor James Pittman and I will be discussing. I'm Calvin Lindstrom, Church of Christian Liberty, James Pittman, New Hope Community Church in Palatine. Thanks for joining us. So, James, a lot of people are not aware of what's going on. I was not aware of this until my wife shared with me. It was, I think, James Dobson who was quoting or sharing a video from Michelle Bachmann. Michelle Bachmann is now the dean of the School of Politics at Regent University, I think. She got a lot of hate when she was in office. People did not like Michelle Bachmann.
Even the Republicans didn't like her.
No, which I think when you're in that category, it probably means you're.
She might be a good person.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, when the world loves you, watch out. When the world hates you, probably you're on the right side.
Right. Correct.
So anyway, James, let's. So the WHO, World Health Organization, which we can say is controlled by China.
It is controlled by China. It is a wing. It is a medical wing of a UN. Is the division of the UN. Right. As one Great Britain newscaster famously relabeled them the World Health Organization, who got the pandemic very, very wrong. Well, the UN is going to use health issues to further their global governance reach. So we have two clips. One is Michelle Bachmann is actually claiming, after doing her research, she's claiming she appeared on the War Room with Steve Bannon, and spoke about what this vote will do to the sovereignty of nations around the world. It's treason, Kelvin. There's no way around it. It is labeled as the pandemic treaty. So apparently all of these countries are going to go into a treaty of how they are going to globally handle pandemics.
Oh, yeah.
Now, forgive me for saying, but there's this little document that says all treaties must be ratified by the Senate.
Yeah.
Biden can't do this by himself.
Yeah.
So at some point, he's going to have to go to the Senate if it's going to truly be a treaty. And even still, a treaty can't nullify the Constitution itself.
No.
And that's what it seems like this WHO is trying to do. So I could share the Michelle Bachmann video here.
Let's do that here.
And it is just, this is nothing short of treason. And we're going to talk about this later on, other topics. Where in the heck are the Republicans?
Yeah. Okay. Let's
pointing this out to the American people.
So it's important now that we get to Kevin McCarthy, the leader in the House, Mitch McConnell, the leader in the Senate, and demand that they drop everything and have a joint press conference and say nothing is going to happen in the United States government until Joe Biden drops these amendments and agrees that we will not give a U.S. sovereignty away to the UN. This is the biggest global power grab that we have ever seen in our lifetimes. And if this goes through, nothing else matters, because the vote that takes place May 22nd through 28th in Geneva, Switzerland, goes into effect in November, which means it won't matter which party wins the elections in November, because global authority will have already transferred to the WHO.
So it's a transfer of power, which is illegal. The president can't give the country away.
Oh, he can't.
Well, he's not supposed to be able to give the
He's not
country away,
supposed to be able
Calvin.
to give a country away, James.
He's not supposed to be
Yeah.
able to cut away. But again, she said it. Mitch McConnell,
Mhm.
Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah, where are they?
Yeah, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about this more in depth in the other thing. But it's really it's amazing what we're seeing, Calvin, nowadays. It's just amazing. But again, it's not from ignorance. It's not from ignorance. Back in 1961,
Yeah.
a very brave politician told us how totalitarianism was going to come to the United States of America and all over the world.
61 years ago.
1961. Is that 61 years ago now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. 61 years ago. Here he is.
Now, back in 1927, an American socialist, Norman Thomas, 6 times candidate for president on the Socialist Party ticket, said the American people would never vote for socialism. But he said under the name of liberalism, the American people will adopt every fragment of the socialist program. There are many ways in which our government has invaded the precincts of private citizens, the method of earning a living. Our government is in business to the extent of owning more than 19,000 businesses covering 47 different lines of activity. This amounts to a fifth of the total industrial capacity of the United States. But at the moment, I'd like to talk about another way, because this threat is with us and at the moment is more imminent. One of the traditional methods of imposing statism or socialism on a people has been by way of medicine. It's very easy to disguise a medical program as a humanitarian project. Most people are a little reluctant to oppose anything that suggests medical care for people who possibly can't afford it. Now, the American people...
Wow.
The prophet...
That was very insightful, wasn't it? Yeah, 61. You know, people accuse Reagan of being a bumbler, but he really was a sharp guy. You know, he was in Hollywood, no doubting that. Not that everything he did was right, but
yeah,
when he was right on this issue, he was very insightful, wasn't he? So yeah, James, summarize this. The UN, starting Sunday through next week, will be voting on, I think, the Biden administration proposed these amendments.
Yes,
correct?
He did. Yes, and who's it? Robert Malone actually went through. Dr. Robert Malone went through, and real quickly, here's what they're going to be voting on. One, increased surveillance. Under Article 5, the WHO will develop early warning criteria that will allow it to establish risk assessment for member states. So the WHO, the World Health Organization, will be able to go into countries and do assessments. Another thing is 48-hour deadline. Under the Articles 6, 10, 11, and 13, a member state is given 48 hours to respond to a WHO risk assessment and accept or reject on-site assistance. However, in practice, this timeline can be reduced to hours, forcing it to comply or face international disapproval led by the World Health Organization and potentially unfriendly member states. Another one, it has secret sources. Under Article 9, the WHO can relay or undisclose on the WHO can rely on undisclosed sources for information leading it to declare a public health emergency. Those sources could include, watch this, Big Pharma, WHO funders such as the Gates Foundation and the Gates founded and funded GAVI Alliance, as well as others seeking to monopolize power. So they can rely on Bill Gates. Bill Gates can tell them what to do, or some Chinese official can tell them what to do, and they can rely upon that, come to the U.S. and declare all types of emergencies. Also, the weakened sovereignties under Article 12, when the WHO receives undisclosed information concerning a purported public health threat in a member state, the Director General may consult with the WHO Emergency Committee and the member state. However, he can unilaterally declare a potential or actual public health emergency and international concerns. And rejecting, and if you don't, rejecting the amendments under Article 59, under the amendments, if the amendments are adopted by the World Health Organization, a member state has 6 months to reject them. This means November this year, if a member state fails to act, it will be deemed to have accepted the amendments, which is completely unconstitutional.
Yeah.
It gives away sovereignty. If you want to see the end results, of this, look no further than China, when 26 million people are locked in their houses screaming as they starve.
Oh, yeah.
This is the authority that they're giving. Calvin, am I naive in thinking that we can't possibly, as the United States of America, adopt this?
Yeah. And then this is from Liberty Counsel that January of last year, Biden sent a letter to Antonio Guterres, UN Secretary General, retracting Trump's withdrawal from the WHO. That was another good thing Trump did, is withdraw us from the World Health Organization. And, Matt Staver, the Biden administration has now set up America for cede U.S. sovereignty concerning the health of Americans to the World Health Organizations.
That's illegal.
And Americans would have very little recourse against the WHO, etc. So it seems like, this kind of snuck through. This is dated May 12th, so a week ago. So people have been waking up, and I think this kind of leads into our next topic. Where are the Republicans on this, James?
Yeah. Where? Where are they saying, Mr. President, you can't give the country away?
Right.
That's treason.
Yeah, it is. And, someone like Rand Paul, I know would not favor this. I don't know if he has
Where is he, Calvin?
raised this issue or not.
Maybe they have. And
Ted
it's
Cruz,
just not...
where are some of the supposed defenders? And James, I know you're going to comment on the 2,000 Mules, and where are the Republicans on that matter, right?
Where are the Republicans? YouTube is censoring. They hate the movie. We did a review on the movie, and this morning I got a notice saying they have removed our review of the 2,000 Mules, in the 2,000 Mules, the greatest thing coming out of the 2,000 Mules for me when I saw 2,000 Mules is, where are the Republicans?
Yeah.
Where are they? Well, this morning I got a notice from YouTube. They have removed my review of the 2,000 Mules and have suspended me again from YouTube. So for a week, I am locked out of my account. I cannot upload, cannot post, I can't do anything. But the question is, where are the Republicans in this?
Yeah.
Calvin, it is eerily baffling.
Yeah.
Where are the Republicans on these issues?
I think, James, what happened, the Democrats set the terms of the debate. And if the Democrats, if you challenged and had any questions about the last election, you were called an election denier.
I'm an election
denier. You were lumped in with whatever radical ideas, and I'm not saying they were all. I'm not sure. There is so much from that, but if you questioned anything, you were a denier.
Yet the Democrats did it for all 4 years.
Trump I know, yeah, but
impeached the man on it.
But that label denier can be strong, right? You think of a Holocaust denier. Just that
they denied Trump's election for 4 years.
Oh, I know, yeah. So I think the Republicans have been afraid, have been trying to, rather than articulate a clear message, they've on this they have capitulated, and on other key issues they've let the Democrats set the terms of the debate, I believe. And you know what, the Democrats are masters at shaping the narrative. The sad shooting in Buffalo, it's horrible, obviously, and I don't know of anyone who has any moral credibility who would be okay with that. I mean, it's absurd.
Of course.
But they're pushing this great replacement theory that Republicans have been hook, line, and sinker with this replacement theory that all these minorities are replacing the white race. When in reality, that's what the Democrats, they are the ones pushing that theory, and they want it. Or they believe this will help them achieve their ends, assuming they can get all these minorities to vote the way they want them to. And Dan Bongino did a great job. This is a Democrat theory, which they've been trumpeting. And, I will say this. If we allow just unflooded immigration into this country from wherever, you could change some of the nation. And it's not a racial thing. It's a worldview issue.
Sure.
But the key people pushing this have been the Democrats, but they've been able to thrust that this is Fox News, et cetera, et cetera. And this murderous young man was not motivated by Fox News. That I don't think there's any evidence of that. He was a I would be interesting to see a little more. I'm speaking from some ignorance. I don't think they know all the details. I mean, other than the FBI. This is another example of the FBI very likely dropping the ball on a situation. Yeah. So the FBI is busy investigating parents who are concerned about what's going on in their local school districts, putting them on watch lists, but they are, letting killers, in some cases, who probably should have had much more scrutiny and action taken against them, get away with their murderous scheme. Not that the FBI is going to stop everything. I don't believe that.
Kelvin, I think you're being nice, and I've said this on my round table. I think you're being very nice, as though they're incompetent, and that's why these things.
No,
happening.
No,
Kelvin,
you're right,
they're
James.
more competent than we think.
No, you're right. You're right. I would agree with that. Yeah, we don't. Incompetent is too nice a word.
Yeah.
At some level, you have
border,
to. Right.
What they're doing at the border, they're very competent. They know exactly what they're doing at the border.
No, you're right.
They know exactly, because they're flying them all over the country. They're busting them places.
Right.
They know exactly what they're doing at the buses. With this WHO ceding power to the World Health Organization, they know exactly what they're doing.
No,
they know exactly what they're doing.
They're
breaking the law and intimidating Supreme Court justices in front of their house, a clear violation of the law in which no one's doing anything. And when called upon to denounce it from the podium of the White House, and they refuse to denounce it, they know exactly what they're doing. Mm-hmm. When those 2,000 mules, when they put together, when Joe Biden's dementia slipped and he told them why he was going to win the election, because they have put in place the most extensive voter fraud. He said that. He said it. Right? We have it on video. They put they put forth the most extensive voter fraud in the history of the United States. Dementia slipped. He told the truth. 2,000 mules. Look at it, Kelvin. They knew exactly what they were doing, and I think we keep. I say we collectively as the conservatives, we keep letting this happen because we are refusing to speak the truth. Joe Biden is a traitor. Mm-hmm. He is trying to. Why is he a traitor? $1.5 billion. I got 1.5 billion reasons why I think he's a traitor. Mm-hmm. He's ceding the country to the authority of who is controlled by China, and he's weakening America at the southern border with the invasion and all that he's doing. They are highly competent. They know exactly what they're doing, and the shockingness to me with the 2,000 mules is, guess what? The Republicans are in on it. Not everyone, probably not everyone.
Let me throw out a theory. Here, you can respond to it. Barack Obama was the perfect candidate because if you criticized him, you were considered a racist.
Yeah.
Biden has become the perfect candidate because he appears to be a bumbling idiot, and yet his agenda is being accomplished.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of maybe even Republicans, oh, well, he's just an idiot. That may be, but that if you look at what he's accomplishing, right? If we're just
Or whoever's
focusing,
pulling the strings, yes.
if we're focusing on the missteps, then we're
Yes.
missing what's more
Exact-
important, right?
Exactly. They trot out old bumbling Uncle Joe, and you look at him and says, this man couldn't possibly be smart enough to do any of this. Well, maybe he's not, but there's somebody who's pulling the strings,
Well, right, yes.
who's accomplishing a lot.
And he's the cover.
Yes.
He, in a sense, he's the distraction
Yes.
from
And so
the real.
So you laugh at him. You laugh at bumbling Joe, but what he's accomplishing
Yeah.
is no laughing matter.
No, that's what I want to say there. Yeah. Well, on that good note, let's move into our third topic, James. The Illinois primary. I've been doing a little bit of analysis. And let me just share some numbers here, James. I was thinking about the U.S. Senate election. These are made up numbers, but hey, if the Democrats got to make them up, why can't we make them up? Let's say Tammy Duckworth pulls out 2.5 million votes on an off presidential election year. In 2016, that was a presidential election. She got 3 million votes. Dick Durbin, in an off election year, got 2 million votes, but almost 3.3 million, supposedly in the U.S. Senate elections. And notice Biden got more votes than Durbin, at least reported, and Trump got more votes than Curran. Interesting. So let's say, and we could look at this for either U.S. Senate or gubernatorial. Mm-hmm. Let's say you get a little over 2.5 million votes. I think you could win. If, assuming this total for Trump is right, if you could get a little more than that, let's push it up to 100,000 more than that. I think it's possible you could win. Rauner disastrously got only 1.8 million votes. He was not worth voting for, obviously.
Correct.
So if we can get a little over 2.5 million votes, and there should be, how can all these people vote for Trump and not show up now? That's what, in part, what bugs me.
Kelvin, you're assuming that there's not a stash of dead votes that could be called up needed.
You know what?
I hear what you're saying. Raw numbers,
I know, James.
He has a shot. Yeah.
So if you look at what Trump got and say, okay, we got to add to that. We should be able to add to that. These races, and now I don't know who the Republican challenger is going to be. That's not, we don't know that yet.
Correct.
I don't think it's, I want to go out. I don't think it's the strongest field in a variety of ways. And no one really has any money at this point. The Republicans have ceded this to Tammy Duckworth.
I hate that.
They really have. And when you got to have a good candidate, but you got to have money. And I think Pritzker has to be vulnerable. If he got, there's no way. Now he has his sycophants. I go on Twitter and I see the people who love Rauner, but it cannot be what he did. So I would like to say if all the people who voted for Trump voted for a true conservative, assuming it's not Richard Irvin, then I think Pritzker is vulnerable there, in my opinion. But he should be. He should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's so June 28th, 2022. You gotta be involved in this and know what's going on. Illinois Family Institute does have a voter guide that could be helpful as you check on the races. Some of the races have a lot of candidates running, and in some cases they look identical on the voter guide. You gotta use, depending on where you are, you gotta use some discretion. they could look identical in the voter guide because that's all they have to go on. There's also ivoterguide.com, a good reference to check out. We'll post links to both of those in the information for these videos. So James, I'll give you the final word there.
Boy, I just it is from the Christian's perspective, looking at the political landscape, not only here in Illinois, but on a federal level, it is so disheartening. But we are reminded that our head of state has not been voted in and can't be voted out.
Right.
And to that, and in him, Jesus the King, we place our ultimate rest as Christians.
Exactly.
And that is where our peace and our
if you are looking to this election,
I'd be going crazy.
Yeah, you would be.
I would be out of my mind. Kelvin, I tell people all the time, honestly, this is who I am. If it wasn't for the Lord, I would have bought a cabin in the middle of nowhere many, many years ago.
Right.
And been held up with tons of ammos and grenades long time ago.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the Lord, and I knew.
You're not doing that in Palatine already, James?
No, we're not doing that in Palatine. We're not doing it in Palatine.
All of my guns sank in an unfortunate boating accident.
Exactly. That's what we're telling the authorities.
Yeah, took them all out fishing one time.
Yes, I don't know why I did that, but if you want them, you can go to Fox River somewhere and,
That's right.
and go retrieve them. So
mine are in the middle of Lake Michigan, but
yeah.
Okay, well, friends, we'll see you. We'll see you next week, Lord willing, at about this time. Share, comment, leave some questions. Let us know. God bless.
God bless.